How y'all doing out there? Y'all asked me which FDM should you buy stock of, and even though I have four Crealities, and they're the base, they're the main ones that everybody is always posting. I only have one Ender 3 version 2. I did not want to stock up on Ender 3s because at the time, 2 years ago, Creality, they had CR-10s. And the CR-10s is what actually got Creality where they're at. But now, since the Ender 3s are under 200, there's a lot more content on Ender 3s than the CR-10s, which it should, as it should. The Ender 3 version 2, it's not better than the CR-10 version 2. Let's get this out the hand. I'm going to keep this video, I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. And I'm going to just say all my pros and cons I have with, Crealities, the Ender 3s, and the CR-10 version 2s. Because I didn't get the version 1 because it didn't have, it was too loud. And it just didn't have enough upgrades for me. And once you start buying these printers, you don't want to buy the printer that doesn't have nothing on it. That shit is, I'm sorry for my language, but your experience is going to be shot. If you buy a plain printer, your experience is going to be bad. The Ender 3, the regular Ender 3 is pretty loud. Step motors, everything else. Also, the CR-10 is the same way. It's a loud printer that you just don't want to have in the other room without any upgrades, or without, the stepper motor upgrades, or the high-end upgrades, or just the quiet motherboard, or whatever else. You just don't want to buy these printers. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, that was, who would have known that they would make quieter printers that were budget like this? So, we're coming up on 3 minutes. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep it short, and I'm going to try to explain what I stock. I now have 6 FDMs. I only have 2 different manufacturers, and I'm going to, explain, my pros and cons and which one is the best. Okay, so for one, we'll get to the Ender 3, the version 2, because we're not going to do the version 1s of anything, because Creality has it in their mind that their version 1s of everything will not have any type of upgrades on them. And they will be pretty shitty on the version 1s. So my advice would be never buy a version 1 in 2020 or anything later. In 2022 or anything later, don't buy a version 1 Creality anything. The stuff is just, it's not good. All right, now that I got that out the end, we're going to start on a version 2 Ender 3. Pros and cons. At 100 microns, that's not too bad. What else do we have? Oh yeah, the control box. The control box is pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, it's an upgrade from the upgraded Ender control box. The version 2 control box is a beast. So that's a plus. And also, from the Ender 1 to the Ender 2, Creality, as always, took suggestions and they upgraded the Ender with our suggestions. So now on the Ender 2, you now have a storage compartment on the bottom, and you have all kind of, you know, tensioners, and you know, you have an extra slat for you know, different things. So the version 2 is a pretty slick upgrade from the version 1. It's well worth it. A version 1 you can probably get $150 less. It's not worth it. Do not get that version 1, because these upgrades for, you know, the $20-$30 for the version 2 is well worth it. Your version 1 is going to be loud as crap, and you're not going to like the experience. All right. So automatically, you know, we got some pros and cons here. They're all pretty much good pros. Creality. The main con with Creality is the you know, the software, and having to use Octoprint to you know, to Wi-Fi print, or just, you know, just to set up a camera and stuff. That's pretty bad. So in this case, I will not suggest, if this is something that you want to do straight out the box, and that you don't want to run it through any hassles doing, I do not suggest a Creality. Because just to do this, you're going to need an Android phone, or you're going to need a Raspberry Pi or an Odroid. And in that case, I've had 3 Odroids, 4 Raspberry Pis, and they're all pretty much they're shitty now. So I ran with the Octoprint on my Galaxy Note, the Galaxy Note Edge or whatever. And as expected, it's nothing like the experience that I have on the Creality killer. And that's Flashforge. These machines, we're going to keep this under 10 minutes. But hold on. Before I get to Flashforge, let me give you my reasons why I stocked 2 more of these CR-10 version 2s instead of the Ender 3 version 2. The Ender 3 version 2 3 years ago was great. The build plate 220mm, that was great. Nobody actually wanted to actually print, you know, too much bigger stuff 3, 4, 5 years ago. So the Ender 3 was pretty much deserving of that time. That time has changed. And now we have started designing, and there's more people out here that are hobbyists. We need something that can print big. The Ender 3, the Star Wars mask and all that other stuff, you're going to be printing pieces on it. Creality, CR-10, 1 prints. And that's a big step. Now, the pros and cons on the CR-10 versus the Ender 3, I'm really trying to keep this under 10 minutes. But if it goes to 12, then that's good enough. The pros and cons would be they both printed 100 microns. But one of the pros for the Ender 3 is the control box. Creality really went wrong when they put this big ass control box on the version 2. That's stupid. When you should have did this same thing to the CR-10 that you did to the Ender 3. You should have made it where we can where this control box was all under the fucking bottom, you know, like it should be. But you didn't do that. You failed to do that. But one thing that you did do, you gave us a damn runout sensor that is pretty much shitty. That's pretty bad. It works though, so I can't really complain. And on this version 2, somehow they sent me a BL Touch, which I will never buy because I know how to properly bed level, which is really a key to successful prints nowadays. I don't use glue. I don't use hairspray. Properly bed level, you don't need any of that. And the reason that is, that I succeed so much, and this is one of my biggest tips that I tell anyone that just gets a printer, is not to wipe your board. Look at this. This is a half white board, and you can tell on the sides I wiped the board, and in the middle the board hasn't wiped. Do you see the gloss in the middle? You will not get that gloss once you start wiping this board. So you're going to wipe away all the properties that help your print stick once you start wiping this board. So stop wiping the board and you'll have better success for, you know, print failures. You won't have too many of them. Some people have took that temporary solution of glue and, you know, glass and mirrors. They took this temporary solution and they ran with it as a permanent solution, and that cost them money. Me, I don't spend money. Glue sticks are gone. I don't have hairspray. I run right on the board. When it's time that my print is done, I will make sure that my print is under the normal temperature and only room temperature. Then I pull the print right off of the plate with very little, you know, hesitation. And as you can see, my board doesn't have scratches. We don't have scratches. That will mess your board up. That keeps you paying extra money. That keeps you paying extra money. Once you start scratching and wiping your board is gone. There's no coming back from scratching and wiping your board. You will need glue stick forever. Don't do it. Don't listen to everybody else. Do what you have to do to experience it yourself. When I was listening to everybody else and I was wiping with alcohol, I ran through glass board after glass board because I was wondering what happened to the properties that were once on the board. Now my board looks dry and looks matte. So don't wipe the board. All right. So now we're going to get back to it. The con that Creality put on the CR-10 is this dumbass fucking control box. Put it under, and they should have put it under here when they didn't even do it on the version 3. So they were stupid for that. But I love Creality, so, you know, forgive me if I say something, but you need to take heed and aim just like you did on the Ender 3 version 2. Lose this right here if you're gonna make a version 4. We don't need this. All right, with that said, the Ender 3 is a lot faster than the CR-10, which you're going to have to, you know, balance out. You know, let's say I printed a lower on the Ender 3 that took 1 day and 12 hours. The CR-10 might take 2 days and 6 hours. So, yeah, the Ender 3 a lot faster than the bigger CR-10. Let's keep this under 15 minutes. But the winner in my case has been Flashforge. I have 2 of these and I plan on future stocking bigger Flashforge. Simply because Flashforge is a side-by-side, one of those FDMs that you can compare to a MakerBot. In fact, MakerBot has been using Flashforge motherboards for a while now. So they go back and forth, MakerBot and Flashforge go back and forth, ripping each other off. When you start up a Flashforge, it sounds like a MakerBot. Flashforge, you don't need Octoprint. It's already here for you. All you have to do is sign up on there, you know, sign up, and you can use the Wi-Fi. I mean, you can print from anywhere. So that's plus, 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 plus. I've helped the school set up 5 of these Flashforge, and their lab was not in the same class, but they print without, you know, without even thinking of failures, and they don't fail. You know, they don't fail. So they're good to set up as production and to keep around. And for schools like that, a lot of schools run with Flashforge. They're not getting MakerBots. Those are thousands of dollars. A lot of schools have been getting this Flashforge. So my review would be Flashforge is the king over Creality. And nothing against Creality, because I love Creality for the budget, but Flashforge has everything you want. built inside. You want an enclosed, you want that. You want, you know, Wi-Fi. You want to be able to load and unload your filament at a push of a button. You know? You want auto bed leveling. There's automatic, there's already in there. That's what you want. There's no reason in this day and age to actually buy a Creality CR-10 unless you just have a big old budget. Like I did. I bought 3 of them with the budget, but they're not as reliable as my Flashforge. In fact, my Octoprint, some of my prints have, you know, stopped because my device, and that's why I don't do the Odroid anymore, crashed. So, you know, take that in consideration when we are making these videos about the Ender 3 version 2s. Take in consideration that you are actually, you know, you're convincing people to buy a machine that's not the best. And from then, you'll have a lot of people that are, you know, pushing video. It just doesn't make sense. The Flashforge is that machine that you guys need to push. You guys need a Flashforge in your environment so you can see the differences from a Flashforge and printing from a Creality. The difference is tremendous, and there is no difference. I mean, there is no comparison. Flashforge is they're great. I love them. I love them just like Creality, but I don't love Creality, you know, as good as I love the Flashforge. My kids can use this Flashforge. I showed them how to load, you know, STLs into the Flashforge slicer, and the Flashforge slicer is actually good. I know a lot of people that will use Cura on a Flashforge, and I'm like, why? I mean, inside that Flashforge software, I can slice, I can cut in half the STLs, and I can, man, what? Come on. What else do you need? And the slicer, it's faster. If I put the same build on this Ender that I do with this Flashforge is going to be, you know, let's say I put an hour build on the Ender, the Flashforge is going to take 40 minutes. All right, so the Flashforge is 20%, quicker. That's the build that I would stock. And I mean, the maintenance is not a lot. Now there is one time that I had got my nozzle clogged up, and oh man, the ease of it was a whole lot easier than unclogging this nozzle. So yeah, get you a Flashforge, push more content for Flashforge because it's a better FDM printer. It's enclosed. The failure rate is a whole lot lower. The quality of the builds, yeah, push Flashforge more. I love Creality. I love what we're doing with Creality and the budgets, but Creality, I mean, the machines are still slow. The Flashforge is comparison to a MakerBot. So do your diligence and research. The victor in this story is going to be the Flashforge Adventurer 3. Now you can go bigger. I really wouldn't care. Almost any Flashforge because they're pretty much all enclosed. So yeah, let's start pushing these Flashforges out there because schools are now getting 10, 15 Flashforges. So let's push them, man, and let's get these kids involved also. Okay? All right.